Hi, and welcome to another video on problem solving. My name is Simpiwe Petros. I'm a University of Pretoria alumni, and I'm really passionate about leadership. I'm co-founder of the SPK Leadership Academy, and we've gotten to know each other over this journey. Today we're going to discuss what problem solving is practically. You've all heard the term what problem solving is. We've defined what problem solving is in the previous video. Now today we're going to discuss a framework or a process that equips you with a strategy to solve problems. And that framework is called the problem solving cycle. Now this cycle consists of many stages and steps, and I want to just elaborate a bit on them and make it practical for you. This would be a good time to take out a pen and a paper and just write down some points and just think about the various problems that you face in your life. Pick one of them and we'll work from there. So I'll give you a moment to think about that problem. Have you got it? All right, fantastic. Now let's work with your problem. Now the problem solving cycle has different levels, and at each level we'll call and say that there are 2 steps to each level. Within each level, we will discuss step by step what you should be doing at each specific step. At the first step or stage of the problem solving cycle, I like to call this the investigation stage. And this is where we talk about identifying what the problem is. Now, if you're like me, I'm an engineer, and we're naturally problem solvers, right? If you're like me and you like solving problems, a lot of the time we tend to make the mistake and think that we know the solution to the problem before we even actually understand what the problem actually is. So it's time to slow down a bit. Write down some points. Understand, identify what the problem is. It might be affecting you, might not even affect you. Think about it, step by step. What is the problem? How is it affecting you? How is it affecting the people around you? Are there other factors that you might need to consider in identifying the problem? Once you've thought about everything, you'll get to realize that the problem that you thought there was isn't actually the problem. There is a deeper rooted problem. And through the identification process, you can actually understand what the deeper and meaty problem is that we need to get through today. After our first step, we go to our second step in the cycle, which is understanding why it is a problem. It's easy to say, what is the problem? It's easy to say how it affects us. It's easy to say who the problem is. But when we get to why, that's when we get to the core of the problem. You've got to understand why it affects you and why it affects those people around you. This would be a good time to take the problems that you've had. You've got to the meaty problem, the core problem, and now you've got to ask yourself, why is it affecting me the way it is affecting me? Why is it affecting the people around me the way it's affecting them? Once you continually ask these whys, you'll get to a stage where you actually understand the direction that you need to take in order to solve this problem. That takes us to our next level. This is where solutions happen. And this is the third step in our cycle where we identify possible solutions to the problem. Don't get mistaken with implementing the solution. This is the stage where you are just identifying possible solutions. So this is the brainstorming stage. This is a very collaborative stage. This isn't a stage where you by yourself come up with the solutions, but you actually have to work with your team or the people that the problem affects. Understand why it affects them the way it does, and understand what possible solutions could meet their problems. Now this is the stage where you can be creative. It doesn't have to be a one-size-fits-all solution. There could be multiple solutions to the problem that you have that actually meets the problem in its fullest form. So identify, be creative, and then we can get to our next step, which is our fourth step in the problem-solving cycle, which would be actually thinking about possible outcomes and evaluating specifically how the solutions will impact the problem. We haven't put the solution to action yet. We are still thinking about it. We're still writing down, and we're still focusing on the fact that we need to analyze, investigate, and really make sure and critique the solutions to make sure that we don't implement a solution that just scratches the surface of the problem. So evaluate the problem. That's our fourth step in the problem-solving cycle. Once we've brainstormed, once we've been creative, and once we've actually thought of possible solutions, we can get to our third level in the problem-solving cycle, which consists of 2 steps. The first of those 2 steps, which is our fifth step in the problem-solving cycle, is actually putting your solutions to actions. So now think about it. We've spoken about 4 steps in the cycle. In the 4 steps, we had not put a solution to action as yet. This is where you actually test the solution to see if it's actually going to meet the needs of the problem. And this is a very iterative process. It's a lot of trying and failing and trying again. Go through this process. Write down what you've learned from implementing this solution in this situation, how we could possibly improve it to get better and actually get to the core problem, and which will lead us to the core solution. So put those solutions to action. And once you've put them into action and you've used all your possible solutions, we can get to our 6th step in the problem-solving cycle, which is evaluating the outcome of our solutions. Now, there's a difference between output and outcome, and it's very important that you understand that difference. Output is a result. That's it. It's an A in your test. There's nothing more to it. It's just that. But outcome is understanding the value behind the result. And it's very important that you understand the value behind the solution to your problem. You've got to consult and inquire and engage with many people to see if it actually brings value to the people that this problem actually affects. It's very important to evaluate. Another thing, once we've gone through this entire cycle, it's important to understand it's called a problem-solving cycle and not a problem-solving process. Because a process has a start and an end, right? But a cycle, like a circle, does not have a beginning or an end. It's a very iterative process. So once you've evaluated your outcome, you might find yourself going back to stage 1 and asking yourself and identifying and seeing if there are any other problems that could arise from the solution that you've developed. So go through this process. Enjoy it. It has to become a lifestyle. That's what leadership is all about, being the solution to other people's problems. If you can be that, you'll solve a whole lot of problems out there in the world, and you'll actually understand the core and essence of leadership. It isn't just about your problems. It's about all the problems that we face in the world and identifying and finding the gap where we can be that solution. We'll discuss this more in detail in the coming videos, but I hope this has helped you understand how to be practical and strategic when it comes to problem solving. The problem-solving cycle is your best friend when it comes to solving problems. I hope this helps. As always, I'll see you next time. My name is Simpiwe Petros. Enjoy. We'll see you then.